Good day everyone! We are now going to discuss about understanding correlation analysis. Bivariate data. Data that involves two variables as different from univariate data that involve only a single variable. Univariate data, major purpose of the analysis is to describe based on the descriptive statistics computed such as averages, standard deviations, and the like. The purpose of the analysis is to describe relationships where new statistical methods will be introduced. We will be describing relationships between related variables in terms of strength and direction. Examples of bivariate data. IQ scores and math scores in a long exam can be collected. In chemistry, a confined gas can have different volumes and corresponding pressure. In physics, an elastic spring can be subjected to stress, which will be accompanied by a corresponding elongation or strain. In motoring, we can collect from different cars their ages and their mileages. Correlation analysis, statistical procedure that is used to determine and describe the relationship between two variables exists. Scatter plot, scattered graph, scattered diagram shows how each point collected from a set of bivariate data are scattered on the Cartesian plane. It gives a good visual picture of two variables, which helps in finding the relationship that exists between the two variables. Graphical representation of the relationship between the two variables. The independent variable is plotted along the horizontal axis or x. The dependent variable is plotted along the vertical axis or y. Scatter plot provides a visual representation of the correlation or relationship between the two variables. It shows the direction and strength of the relationship of the variables. All correlations have two properties, direction and strength. Positive correlation, both variables move in the same direction. In other words, as one variable increases, the other variable also increases. As one variable decreases, the other variable also decreases. An upward trend in points indicates a positive correlation. For example, IQ versus academic performance or salary versus job satisfaction. Positive correlation examples: temperature and the amount of the ice cream sales, alcohol consumption and cholesterol levels, weights and heights of college students. The more time you spend running on a treadmill, the more calories you will burn. Taller people have larger shoe sizes and shorter people have smaller shoe sizes. The longer your hair grows, the more shampoo you will need. The less time I spend marketing my business, the fewer new customers will have. The more hours you spend in direct sunlight, the more severe your sunburn. The more money she saves, the more financially secure she feels. As the temperature goes up, ice cream sales also goes up. When an employee works more hours, his paycheck increases proportionately. The more gasoline you put in your car, the farther it will go. The longer someone invests, the more compound interest he will earn. The longer amount of time you spend in a bath, the more wrinkly your skin becomes. As it snows more, the sales for decisors goes up. As you drink more coffee, the number of hours you stay awake increases. As a child grows, so does his clothing size. As her salary increased, so did her spending. The more it rains, the more sales for umbrellas goes up. Taller people tend to weigh more and shorter people tend to weigh less. As the person's level of happiness decreases, so does his level of helpfulness. People who suffer from depression have higher rates of suicide than those who do not. As more people go to the movies, the amount of money spent on tickets increases. When the workers' get a raise, morale improves. As tread on your car tires decreases, traction with the road decreases. As the level of water lowers in a fish tank, the volume of the habitat for the fish decreases. The faster a jet pilot flies, the higher the G-forces are. The more you exercise your muscles, the stronger they get. When employees have high salary, efficiency increases. As the wattage of the light bulbs increases, the light output increases. Negative correlation. The variables move in opposite directions. As one variable increases, the other variable decreases. As one variable decreases, the other variable increases. A downward trend in points indicates a negative correlation. Examples: academic performance versus number of hours watching TV, or the stress versus job performance. Negative correlation examples: a student who has many absences has a decrease in grades. As weather gets colder, air conditioning costs decrease. If a train increases speed, the length of time to get to the final point decreases. If a chicken increases in age, the amount of eggs it produces decreases. If a sun shines more, a house with solar panels requires less use of other electricity. If it is dark outside, more light is needed inside. If a car decreases speed, travel time to a destination increases. If a car tire has more air, the car may use less gas per mile. The warmer it is outside, the fewer layers of clothing one has to wear to be warm. As one exercises more, his body weight becomes less. The older a man gets, the less hair that he has. The more one works, the less free time one has. As a tadpole gets older, its tail gets smaller. The further one runs, the slower one's pace may be. As the temperature increases, fewer hot chocolate products are sold. As more employees are laid off, satisfaction among remaining employees decreases. As the temperature decreases, more heaters are purchased. As a biker's speed increases, his time to get to the finish line decreases. As the slope of the hill increases, the amount of speed a walker reaches may decrease. The more one eats, the less hunger one will have. As humidity increases, people's desire to be outside may decrease. As snowfall totals increase, the amount of people driving decreases. As one increases in age, often one's agility decreases. If the temperatures outside decrease dramatically, heating bills will increase. If a resident uses more mouse traps in the home, the amount of mice in the home will likely decrease. The more alcohol one consumes, the less judgment one has. The more a window is obstructed by curtains, the less light that will enter the house. The more one cleans the house, the less likely there are to be pest problems. The more one works out at a gym, the less body fat one may have. The more one smokes cigarettes, the fewer years she will have to live. The more one runs, the less likely one is to have cardiovascular problems. The more vitamins one takes, the less likely one is to have a deficiency. More iron an anemic person consumes, the less tired one may be. Zero or no correlation. It means that there is no apparent relationship between the two variables. Examples: shoe size versus salary, socioeconomic status versus grades, coffee consumption versus intelligence, height and exam scores, shoe size and movies watched, and weight and income. The strength of correlation is determined by its numerical value. Now here are the scatter plots and correlation examples. Perfect or positive correlation, so R is equal to 1. Highly positive correlation R is equal to 0.8. Low positive correlation R is equal to 0.3. No correlation R is equal to 0. Low negative correlation R is equal to negative 0.3. Highly negative correlation R is equal to negative 0.8. Perfect negative correlation R is equal to negative 1. Now here is the summary. Bivariate data involves the study of two variables. Example of bivariate data is the IQ and the age of students in a population. A scatter plot is a mathematical diagram using Cartesian coordinates to display values for two variables in a set of data. It provides a visual representation of the correlation or relationship between the two variables. In a positive correlation, both variables move in the same direction. In other words, as one variable increases, the other variable also increases. In a negative correlation, the variables move in opposite directions. As one variable increases, the other variable decreases. The two elements that should be considered in the analysis of a scatter plot are direction and the strength of the correlation. The strength of the correlation is determined by its numerical value. It may be perfect, very high, moderately low, very low, and 0. Now here are the references from Banigon Jr., Ricardo B., Maita G., Camilon, and Catalina B. Manalo. Statistics and Probability for Senior High School. Statistics and Probability Quarter 4, Department of Education, and www.intelspot.com, examples.yourdictionary.com/negative correlation examples, and also positive correlation examples, and www.statology.org/no correlation examples. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Please subscribe to Analyze Math.